Thank you for joining us for 8 News at 6. I'm Candice Cole. And John has a look at the weather where you live. John, there's no denying it's fall out there, but it was nice today. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton created one of the most unconventional modern elections in decades. Virginia State Police are asking for your help after 4 people were shot at on I-64 East. The Richmond Police Department delivered turkeys and meals to 10 families across Central Virginia. Guys, I am standing in front of what are now the remains of St. John's Baptist Church here in Tappahannock. You can see that there is just debris everywhere. We've really got to be careful for where we're stepping because there's nails, there's glass, and as you can see over here, the entire church, which has been here in this spot over 140 years, now completely destroyed. Hey guys, you'll have to excuse the hairnet, but I'm standing inside the kitchen at the Richmond Convention Center where volunteers have been working since 4 a.m. this morning, prepping over 250 turkeys to make sure everyone in Richmond has a happy Thanksgiving meal tomorrow. Standing here on the corner of East Laburnum and Alma Avenues where a horrific car crash sent several people to the hospital. I'm told by witnesses here that a car ran the stop sign and forced a woman into a crowd waiting for the bus stop here right in front of this 7-Eleven. At the Metro Richmond Zoo, cheetah cub Kumbali and Labrador pup Kago became fast friends after Kumbali had to be hand-fed. And I spoke to neighbors who live along the route who say accidents have been an ongoing problem and they need to stop. As the woman who owns this home behind me says she paid in good faith back in April for a new roof and an addition to her home. All she was left with was this pile of dirt in her backyard, and the contractor she hired seems to have gone MIA. Diane, who doesn't want her face shown, says she paid Patrick Farley, an area contractor, more than $9,000 as a deposit for the work to be done to her home.
In April, he asked me to put some money down, and this way he could get started as soon as possible. He asked for $9,600. I gave him that money, wrote him a check for it.
Diane says Farley came recommended from a friend to do the $25,000 job. Now, 6 months later, Diane has nothing to show for the deposit but a hole for the foundation.
We would talk about when it's going to get started. Said, well, he couldn't do it because it was raining so much. And then his foundation man was behind because of all the rain. Next thing I know, his mother was very ill. Then he had other problems. It was excuse after excuse after excuse.
8 News spoke with Farley's contractor regarding the work. We're told the delays are due to Diane, not Farley. The contractor said she continually made changes which pushed back the project. Diane says not so. So we wanted to know more about Patrick Farley and his business. We did some digging and found court records which show Farley pleaded guilty to construction fraud in Chesterfield. That was in July of this year. Farley was also found guilty in Hanover County in 2007 for failing to complete a construction job. We looked for his license, but all we could find was one that expired in 2008 for quality exterior renovation. When we told Diane about Farley's troubles in court, she was shocked.
I felt horrible. I didn't know any of this. I wished I had known, obviously, or I wouldn't have given him any money. He just seemed real personable. Somebody you could trust.
Now, we did reach out to Patrick Farley to find out what he has to say about this situation. He hasn't returned any of my phone calls yet, but I will keep you updated when I hear back. Reporting in Richmond, Candice Cole, 8 News. Well, Amy Wan, the people who I talked to in this area say enough is enough. You can see this truck here behind me. It's been completely torched, destroyed. And as you said, it's the second one to happen here in just 2 days. And the neighbors here have had enough. They want this to stop.
Boy, that was outrageous. I come yesterday morning and I saw those car burned up. I was so sad. I come back this morning. The same thing, you know.
Paul Parchment and others working and living around the area of West Broad and Mulberry Streets in the Fan have had it with this rash of car fires. Casey Young lives in these apartments right behind the alley where this truck was set on fire this morning, coming dangerously close to these back porches, which could have easily gone up in flames.
The fires and everything that can go up in flames and having all our property in these homes It's actually really terrifying. Like, if we didn't know about it, people's lives could be at stake.
This morning's fire comes just a day and literally a few feet away from yesterday morning's car fire here at Chapman's Certified Auto Service, where owner Gary Thaxton suffered thousands of dollars in damages in not one, but two fires.
My building got caught on fire from a mattress fire in the alley about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And then 2 days ago, we had this fire here with the cars on the lot. And it just got set on fire overnight. And early in the morning, it burned up and 5 cars got damaged.
Next door neighbors at the jerk pit fearful the flames could eventually spread to them if these incidents go unchecked.
Coming here tomorrow morning, it could be our store next, you know what I mean? So we're really concerned about it. I wish the police could circle through here, through the alley, and spot anything that's going on.
We've been told both today and yesterday's fires are being investigated as arson and could be connected. As for residents, the one question that remains is why.
What's the point in doing this to hurt others? It doesn't profit you. I don't understand it.
Now, again, these last two car fires are being called arson. As for Gary Thaxton here at Chapman's Auto, he says he's going to install security cameras just for some added protection. Reporting live in the Fan, Candice Cole, 8 News. Juan, the victim, who family members say is Chauncey Jones, was stopping by the Quick Mart to check on his 2 cousins, as he did quite often when he was shot. Now his family is praying for a speedy recovery.
2 guys just came in, and one of them put a gun right to his face and was like, give it up, give everything up.
That's Shelby describing the terrifying moments that led up to her cousin, Chauncey Jones, being shot 3 times during an armed robbery Sunday night. Shelby didn't want her face shown, but wanted to share what happened.
We were putting our hands up. We were like, okay, we're trying to cooperate. And then he just started shooting.
She was finishing up work with her daughter at the Quick Mart on Boynton Plank Road. Daughter Shaquaylin was vacuuming when 2 men with bandanas came in and started shooting.
My mama told me to run, so I ran to the back of the store, and like seconds later I heard like 5 gunshots. It was like back to back, like pow, 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 pow.
Terrified that her mother had also been shot, Shaquaylin jumped on this freezer in the back of the store, trying to stay out of sight. She opened the back door to call for help, but saw the 2 men run across to the BP. Meanwhile, cousin Chauncey lay on the floor, clinging to life after being shot in the back and both legs.
I was just afraid for my life. I was preparing myself actually to be shot, because I thought if he shot him, he's gonna shoot me, you know, but he didn't, thank God.
The owner of the Quick Mart says he hasn't had any trouble in the 13 years they've been there, and shoppers are left baffled.
You know, I was just at a loss for words, because, you know, I'm thinking like, who would want to rob the Quick Mart? You know, everybody from around here comes here, you know, nobody ever caused no trouble, and I just don't get it.
Now, Chauncey Jones is in the ICU. Shelby says he's been placed under a medically induced coma. The Dinwiddie County Sheriff's Office is still looking for the suspects. Christina? The students who I spoke with today are absolutely livid following last night's fire here at Longwood Landings, the off-campus housing here at Longwood University. Not only do they not have a place to live now, they say they didn't even know that the building was on fire. And on top of that, communication with the university, they say, has been sparse at best.
We actually were not aware that the building was on fire because the alarms did not go off.
Juniors Kristen Anderson and Emily Clark have been in this spot since 9:30 this morning, waiting to find out where they're going to go.
One of the most stressful parts is the unknown, like not knowing where we're going to end up, where we're going to go, not having a placement of where to live. Basically getting a run around since last night.
We've been here since almost 9:30 this morning, and we're just waiting for them to tell us where we need to go. I mean, my stuff's out, but I don't have anywhere to put it.
About 35 students were home when lightning struck the building's roof. They were moved to Curry Hall temporarily, then many spent the night over a friend's. Kristen's mom says she was never notified by the school.
I was very frustrated, and then when I called campus police to get some assistance to see what was going on, they were not helpful at all. Very, very just rude.
Longwood officials say it may take some figuring out, but there should be space for everyone else here on campus.
We have this and 2 other off-campus apartment communities, and we know there are some vacancies. We should be able to accommodate these students without a great deal of difficulty. It'll be an inconvenience, but certainly they're not going to be turned out with no house room.
Now, Kristen and Emily have been roommates ever since freshman year, and Kristen's mother says there's no way that they're going to get separated now just because of this fire and the housing situation. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more about the damages sustained by this building and the cleanup efforts. Reporting live in Farmville, Candice Cole, 8 News.